Hi, so I'm going to show you today how to unravel your advent blanket and to create the fringe. So at first it looks just a tad daunting, but after you do the bind off in the instructions, all you do, you can see I've already started on this end, I've done a few, but all you do is on the end where you did the bind off, on one side, if you'll just kind of pull these stitches apart, you'll see it start to unravel. And so what you're looking for is this loop right here. Now I prefer to tie two loops together to create a little bit more substantial fringe. You can certainly make a knot just out of this one, but I'm going to show you how I do it. So I have these two loops. Let me show you. And all I'm going to do is create a knot. And this is the way I prefer to do it. And then once I have that knot, I simply slide it down as close to the fabric as I can, and now I have these two loops. I prefer to do this before I trim the two loops. I feel like it's a little easier to pull it all through when you're making the knot. And you can then just go ahead and do the little snip, and you have your fringe. So you can see what this little bit more substantial fringe edge looks like by tying two knots together. Definitely try it if you want to with the singles. Do a couple, just don't pull them very tight in case you change your mind. Now you will run into a situation where you end up with a tail instead of a loop like this right here. And that's simply because that was the tail when I started that edge or I ended that edge. And so all I do, whether you're doing the single or the double, is I create a loop out of that. You can see I'm just going to tie these two together just like I normally would. And when you get to the middle, if you followed the directions, there are a lot of tails. You can see how that worked out just fine. And of course I do have this little bit that's hanging here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and block this first and see how this ends up. I may end up trimming this, but if it blends in and it lays well, I may just leave it because it just adds a little bit more fringe. But as I was saying, as you get to the middle of the blanket, let me just slide it up and show you my super high quality production here. So the middle of my blanket, you can see, looks like this. It's these two stripes right here, and if I flip it, you can see this right here. When you get to this section, you're going to have way more tails, as you can see here. And so you may end up with two tails in a row that you may have to create the loop out of. And that's fine. You just do it the exact same way. So hope that helps.